Making homemade cake can be super challenging, but one cake that is really forgiving is pound cake, and it's always delicious. And honestly, I'm not sure there's a cake out there that's easier to prepare. So the whole premise of pound cake is not that it weighs a pound at the end, but it's the ingredients that are in it. And the best thing about this is you probably have most of these already in your cupboard and your refrigerator. So it's a pound of flour, a pound of butter, a pound of eggs, and a pound of sugar. That is it. Now I do add 2 more ingredients to it because I do feel like it does enhance it. But if you just have those 4, boom, you got pound cake ready to roll at your house. So the first thing we're gonna do is start off by prepping up this recipe. Sound good? Let's bake. Starting in a stand mixer, if you do not have one of these, you will need an electric hand beater. We're gonna add in some softened unsalted butter. Try to make sure it is softened. It will go much more quickly. Then we're gonna fix the paddle attachment right onto the stand mixer, put it down, make sure it's locked in place. Turn the speed up to medium, does not need to go any further than that. We're gonna whip it for about 5 to 7 minutes, but this is excellent time to weigh everything out. We're gonna weigh out a pound of everything, so sugar and then everything else. And I just wanna stop and say it is so important to have a digital scale these days in your kitchen tools. It will make you that much better of a cook. You can weigh grams, ounces, it's awesome. So there I just added in the flour. Again, if you're a little bit over, like I have been on everything, like 0.12 ounces, it's totally fine. The next thing we want to do is measure out and weigh the eggs. And you do this by keeping the shell on. That is how it was classically done. They weighed them in the shell. So again, if you're just a hair over, it is totally fine. Don't flip out. A little bit more moisture is not going to hurt anything. Of course, crack those eggs into a separate bowl. Make sure there's no shells in there. If you have to go fishing for some, please do so. Now we're going to set those to the side, head back over to our stand mixer. We're just going to give it a stop and scrape the sides. We're going to do this a few times during this recipe. We want to make sure every single thing is incorporated. So you just stop it, pull it up, grab a rubber spatula, scrape the sides, put it back down, and then get to whipping. But now we are going to start adding in some ingredients, beginning with the sugar. We cream the butter and sugar together until it is completely mixed. We're still on medium speed. So what I'm going to do to slightly change up this original classic recipe is I want to add in just a little bit of vanilla extract. It just enhances it and takes it to a whole other level. Yep, gonna stop really quick and say this because there are several variations when it comes to pound cake. So if you wanted to add in a little lemon flavoring, right after I add in the vanilla, you could add in a lemon extract, or better yet, the juice and zest of 1 lemon. Maybe you wanted to add a little cream cheese to the mix. But at the beginning, you would just simply take 1 stick of butter away and sub out an 8-ounce package of softened cream cheese. Boom, you got cream cheese pound cake. It is so simple to tweak this recipe to take it to another level in the flavor department. Here's what we do now. Add in the eggs only 1 at a time until they're incorporated. And right out of the gate, I added in 2. It was an accident. They sort of held onto each other on the way in. Again, it's important to do it 1 at a time until it is completely mixed in. Since this is the only liquid, you have to take the time to do this until it is incorporated. Halfway through adding in the eggs, again, what I like to do, I just like to stop it and scrape it down. This is such a great way to make sure everything is incorporated. It can get annoying, but it's still a very, very simple thing to do. And you do want to make sure those eggs get fully put into that softened butter. Then we'll just finish it up with the remaining eggs. I think there was 3 left or so. Now what we want to do is turn the speed down to low. Going to add in a little bit of sea salt. This is an addition, but I do feel like it really enhances the flavor again. You should always salt your cakes and baked goods. Now we add in the flour in 3 increments. So starting with just 1/3 of the flour, we add it in there. If we were to put all of the flour in at one time, it would be clumpy. It would probably seize up and be a little bit too thick and firm. It just gives it a fighting chance to slowly be incorporated into those wet ingredients to make sure it's smooth and perfect. And then after adding 2 of the increments of flour, I stop it, I scrape it again. I know, gets annoying, but you need to do it. It's good practice. They say that all the time in culinary school. Stop and scrape.
And then finally, we're just going to add in that last little third increment of flour. And a quick note, you could absolutely sub out this all-purpose flour for cake flour. They will work in tandem with each other. Last time, give it a quick little scrape because we want to make sure all of the flour gets in there. I don't know about you, sometimes it's all over the mixer or on top of the paddle and just want to get it all incorporated. Once it is completely smooth, just again, going to let it spin for maybe another 30 seconds or so. We are going to remove the bowl from the stand mixer, scrape off any goodness from the paddle, and then we are going to transfer it to a fluted bundt pan. This is a 9-inch bundt pan. It's going to work excellently here in this recipe. It's going to make it look real pretty too. Then evenly spread the batter around the fluted pan. Very simple to do. It is thick, so be careful if it rides up on the sides. Make sure that you push them down. And this fluted pan, also really quick, I did spray with some no-stick spray. So smooth out the top. If it goes up the sides a little bit, that's totally fine because it will raise in the center. We're going in the oven at 325 degrees. Honestly, if you put it in the lower third of the oven, it finishes in exactly 60 minutes.
While this is in the oven, I want to say that I used a pretty big and deep fluted bundt pan. It's about 9 inches wide, and it's probably about 4 or 5 inches thick. So if you don't have a bundt pan or fluted pan that large, the best thing you can do is have two 8.5 by 4.5 inch bread loaf pans. Just divide the batter between those two pans. Same baking times, same baking temp. You'll get the exact same result as I did. Now, here's what we do.
The hardest part of this recipe and any baked goods is the waiting game. It takes about 90 to 120 minutes for this to completely cool on a rack. And with about 15 minutes left in the cooling process, we're going to make some whipped cream. You've seen me do it a million times. Heavy whipped cream, vanilla, sugar, put on the whisk attachment, mix it on medium to high speed until stiff peaks are formed, which really only takes about 3 to 4 minutes. You're just incorporating air. Once it is to this consistency, we're going to set it to the side in the refrigerator.
Fundamental basics. I tell you all the time, and it even applies to baking. Knowing how to cream the butter and sugar together, adding 1 egg at a time until it's mixed in. Don't forget to stop and scrape. Super important, no matter what cake you are making. But oh my goodness, this recipe just needs those 4 ingredients. Sure, I added vanilla and salt. Does help in the flavor department a little bit. You can add lemon, but it also does not need it. The simplicity of this recipe, amazing. Stands the test of time. It is tender. It is flavorful. You will love it. But of course, we are going to plate this up right now in slow-mo because I want to add a few more things.
Okay, a combination of slow-mo and regular speed. I can't help it. We are just going to turn it upside down onto a plate. We're going to pull it up. It should come right out. Remember, we sprayed it with no stick spray just to make sure. I like to serve this up with fresh berries. Just makes it so much better. We are going to take a slice and just have a look in the middle. Absolutely perfect, my friends. Great, great recipe. Very easy to do. And to plate up, just add a few slices to a plate. Going to hit it with some of that homemade fresh whipped cream and some more berries. And my, oh my, check out this beauty.
Two really important things. Just make it. It's easy and you will absolutely love it. The second thing, subscribe to my channel. Do it, do it, do it. And definitely check out this video right here. I made it for you and you will dig it. We'll see you on there.